voices whispering to me words that I can't understand, meanings I must clearly hear, calling me to follow close, lest I leave myself behind, calling me to walk into evening shadows one more time. So I leave my boats behind, leave them on familiar shore, set my heart upon the deep, follow you again, my Lord. So I leave my boats behind, leave them on familiar shore.
Hi and welcome to this special program, Divine Voice out of Africa, Marist Vocations. Today it is a special privilege to be with a great brother born from Nigeria. Greetings and welcome, brother.
Thank you very much, Brother Inyas.
You are most welcome to Divine Voice Marist Vocations Studio.
Okay, thank you.
Feel free, this is your home. So let us start asking you, who are you?
Okay, thank you first of all for the invitation. I am Brother Modestus Osuji Onyedikachi from far away eastern part of Nigeria. I speak Igbo and I'm a Nigerian, a Christian, and a married brother at the same time.
That's great. So, you have said it very well, Marist brother. What I know too much about Marist brother, the apostle of the youth. I hope I'm not mistaken. You're a true apostle of the youth. So, for you, how did you know Marist brothers with schools?
Thank you very much for the question. I think the best thing to say is that I grew up in a place where religious vocation is quite something. And then as you grow up, you notice in the parishes so many religious activities going on, and you'll be interested. At a point, you feel like it is the only activity going on in your surrounding. From where I am coming from, the eastern part of Nigeria, it is religious activity, especially in the Catholic Church, is very popular. And then it catches our attention as young people. So it was that idea that drew me closer to the church. And I do it sometimes spontaneous. At a point in my life, even as a student in the secondary school, I participated in activities outside the classroom, like conventions, YCS conventions. And as a student leader in my own right, I happened to know these organizations that always come for the convention. So many beautiful people, religious congregations that participate in the convention to mentor young people, to teach us about God. And I pick interest in those programs, like the national conventions. One was held in Abuja, another was held in Port Harcourt, and I attended two of them. They gave us some information on religious vocation and gave us myriads of information on different congregations. So I saw some of them. I began reading those articles because as an art student, I was introduced into the act of reading very early. So I read some of those articles and they made meaning to me. I was able to decipher the meanings there. And from there, the interest of my upbringing and my future started taking to shape. Should I go into religious vocation or should I do something else? But already I have idea of what it means to be religious, to be a religious, because I have read some of their articles, what they do, their lifestyle, and I also, in the process, got to know about the Marist brothers. So that was how I met the brothers. In 2013, 14, I applied to the vocation director and I was invited in the traditional way of inviting people to acquaint them with the life. So from that moment, my idea of knowing them personally, apart from the book, was introduced. And subsequently, I think what I saw impressed me, made impression on me, and I joined. That is my story.
That is interesting story to hear how you discovered the Marist brothers and you find destiny to you. Saying this, normally we do say that the success is not a journey, but destiny. And when I see or I hear your stories, I can say that you have tasted the Gamaliel test, the one we are told in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 5. I mean this because when you are in formation, I'm not mistaken, you lost your parents. For you and for me, I see that there was a Gamaliel test. How have you endured this Gamaliel test?
Thank you very much for the question. And the story of loss of our dear ones is always hurting. But at a point in time, you have got to know that you will lose your loved ones. So, of course, I lost my parents. I have lost both of them. I lost my dad while I was here recently. I lost my dad. But my mom, I lost while I was in the postulants. So it has been a while since 2015. Um, I take consolation from the words of the scripture that says that our loved ones, though they have gone before us, they are with God because they were meant for God. And I think that is what consoles me. That is what makes me happy. Knowing also that they did not leave us alone, they left me with my siblings, they left me with a community of faith. They nurtured me to be somebody that have faith in God, somebody that has demonstrated his desire to be in a community with other people. So they didn't leave me alone. They left me in a better hand, and that is what is consoling me. That communion that I still enjoy, even without seeing them physically, I see them spiritually. That they are with me in my journey, and it makes me whole. It makes me happy. I have accepted the consequence of life that we have to die someday. And I continue to pray for them that their soul may rest in the bosom of the Lord.
Amen.
And that is the outcome of that reflection.
In unique history of individual, there is a hand of God or it is a sacred history. For you, have you seen the hand of God in that unique history, painful history as an individual?
Yeah, there is the hand of God in our lives. God is the one who is journeying with us. And as a Christian, we see the hand of God in everything that happens to us. It is something that makes us to heal faster than those who do not believe. If you do not believe, you may end up mourning, or you may not even get the lesson from loss. The first thing that I notice that is the hand of God when I lose my loved ones is to also appreciate life. That God is telling me, any opportunity that you have, use it to appreciate life, because this life belongs to me. I can give it to whomever I want, and I can take it. And he says in John chapter 10, verse 10b, that I have come to give you life in abundance. So his handwork by giving us our parents all this while to stay with us, and when they have left us, is something that fills me with gratitude that God gave me something. There are people, of course, who didn't meet their loved ones, who do not even know their parents. So for me to be lucky enough to know them, for me to be lucky enough that they baptized me, they showed me or taught me the faith that I'm practicing now, something that fills me with gratitude. And I say, God, thank you. It is your hand. I see your hand there. I cannot deny that you have been gracious to me. You have been gracious to give me the opportunity of knowing parents, and even giving me opportunity to pray for my loved parents who have died. It is a sign of God's fidelity.
That's great. They do say that the veil tries the middle. One of the things I have seen so far in Marist formation is that the formation is located in different geographical areas. One of novitiate it is in Kumasi, Ghana, where you did your novitiate. And individual has what we call feeling expectation. What was your feelings and expectations in landing in Ghana?
That was some time ago, around 2016. So it's 4 years ago precisely. I myself and my group, because the gift God gave us as brothers, what I have discovered is that you cannot journey alone. God always gives you people to journey with. So I left Nigeria in 2016, around September, 1st of September, or ending of October, thereabout, to Ghana for the canonical requirement, because as religious, you have to follow the canon. The canonical requirement that before you become a religious, you pass through the novitiate for the number of years that are prescribed in the canon law. So I went there to fulfill that aspect of the church canon, and at the same time to learn more about Marist religious life and religious life as a whole, because in the novitiate you don't only learn about the specifics of your congregation, the constitutions, the rule of life, the letters written by the forebears, the foreigners of the congregation. You also learn much about the church in general, about other congregations. So when I arrived Ghana, I met those brothers who were already there in the second year. Myself, my group, and myself, we are immediately integrated into the life of the novitiate, and that experience continues to be part of my my journey experience. Ghana, I think, is the place that if you ask me to go, tomorrow to go, I will not even give it a second thought. I will gladly go, because they are welcoming people, they are lovely people, they are God fearing people, and it is a very calm country. So that made the experience also holistic, made the experience beautiful, and I enjoyed my stay there. While I was there, I participated also in the things that are specific or particular with novitiate experience, and they able to after finishing that period, I went back to my country before other things took place.
That's great. Maybe there are some people who are following us, they don't understand the concept of novitiate. In a simple way, for to the lay people the outside, what is a novitiate?
I may not go to the etymology of novitiate, but I will just tell the layperson or whoever that do not know what it is, that in religious life there are stages, just like in any other form of life. Like if you want to become a doctor, you pass through the university, you'll be inducted into the medical profession. The same way with religious congregation. For you to become a religious, for you to make your first profession, you enter into the stage that is like a limbo, whereby you are not a religious, you are not a layperson. You are preparing intensely to discern whether you are called for that life. So that period for us as Maris, and I think most congregations, lasts for 2 good years. So that period of 2 years, the period of discernment, of prayer, of withdrawal, of also sharing, because we are not monks. Even monks, they share. So that period is a period of learning, of accepting who you are, and of making a resolution to join the religious congregation. So as we have it, novitiate is a stage that prepares you to make your first profession as a religious. So it is that stage that we are given canonically to prepare if you really want to be a religious person, to make your first profession before you go deeper in advancing your religious experience, your education, and your understanding of church and community. So that novitiate market from the word novice, you are just being prepared to become something, to become a religious, as the case may be.
That's great to hear. That's interesting story. That is preparatory story. Quoting Pope Francis, he said that the secret of being religious is joy. And how have you expressed this joy of being consecrated to God?
Um, I love that you mentioned Pope Francis. He's a practical man, and having himself experienced a lot of things in life, he knew what he's talking about. He's a religious. Well, joy is something that is different from happiness. Joy can be internal, while happiness can be external. I can be happy by little things, but joy is something that comes, it is intrinsic. So when you say the joy of being a religious, the joy, if that is what you asked, the joy of being a religious is the awareness that you have been saved, the awareness that God called you by name, the awareness that God has, as my novice master will put it, a loving plan for you. And He wants you to discover that plan. So He lures you. God is like luring you to Himself. He seduces you, let me use the word, to Himself to discover that you are a special person. All of us, God does not show partiality, but there are people who discover that impartiality of God, who discover that love of God, the way He calls us, different in many ways, different from our backgrounds, family history, different from our psychological makeup, but He calls us, He lures us, He seduces us to be able to discover Him, like that precious jewel, like that precious gift. And when you discover Him, it is what gives you joy. I cannot get joy by simply living in a beautiful community. I cannot get that joy by simply eating 3 times in a day. I may not get that joy by going for apostolate, winning souls for God, preaching to the young people, teaching them catechesis, teaching them secular subjects or what have you. Those things cannot give you real joy. Real joy comes from the awareness of discovering that I am loved unconditionally. And it is something that made me to cry on the day of my profession when I pronounced the vows, and I had my provincial superior saying that I accept your vows. It is just like me hearing God Himself saying, I accept you. Difficult, yes. Sinner, yes. But precious, yes. Image of God, yes. And that is God accepting the whole package, the whole me, something that filled me with joy. And that is what I carry with me. And that is what I carry and tell other people, that the joy of religious life is not just smiling. Smiling is not the only way of expressing that joy, but gratitude. Gratitude to God that through Him I can be free. Through Him I have been saved. And through Him I have that internal joy which no one can give except Him. And I think that is the major thing that gives me that joy of religious life. Apart from that, I don't know any other joy you are talking about.
I think I've said it very well. Summarizing this is the word joy, Jesus, others, and yourself. You have captured it very well. For me, in few words, if somebody asks you what shaped you to become a Marist brother, what can you answer him?
Well, a Marist brother is not carved out of the wood. A Marist brother is someone that is from a family, someone that was nurtured from a family, because family plays a significant role in whatever we become. If your family is not interested in the things that belongs to the sacred, it will be difficult for you to be a good religious, because the family, we are always going to make reference to our family. So my family helped me, they shaped me to know God, to appreciate the sacred space. And I owe my vocation experience from the way my mom treated things that belongs to God. Even my dad, he tried in his own way. But men are not like the mothers. The mothers are more interested in their children, in what they become. And my mother took that special interest from the time I was small. And then she keep on reminding me that this is how you have been. Even when I started becoming rebellious in the adolescent age, which is particular to young people, she kept on reminding me that you are special. Oh. When you were born, this and this happened. And when you were growing up, you were behaving like this and this. I think you need to reflect on that and know that maybe God is destining you. God has called you for a special purpose. And I think at a point, it made impression on me, and I began to walk towards that path that God has marked for me. Because I realized that some of the things that make other people go crazy doesn't make me go crazy. I may participate in it, but it doesn't move me the way it will move other people. So I realized that hey, it may be a sign of predestination, let me say, a sign of special favor, a sign of special calling. And I think from the family, then proceed with the type of people you made friends with. Some of my friends, they are priests, some are in the seminary. The type of school that I went to, many people were actually interested in the things of God. So this type of school you put your children also makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that all the people that I met are religious. There are so many of them who are in the secular world, who are baristas. Last time that I visited home, some of my classmates they were called to bar. Even at a point, I was also saying that I'll become a lawyer and all that. But now I am a brother. So some of them are doing other beautiful things. Some are really trying in their own skill, in their own profession. Others are also struggling. That is life. Life is very dualistic. So I think family, friends, the type of education, the type of books you were reading can have a lot of influence on you. So that closeness with family and having that idea that we are special and they try to relate it with the things of God. Closeness with the church, I will not forget to mention it, also played significant role. So when you see people saying there are lack of vocation there and there and there, you check family life, you see what is happening there. We are having a lot of issues in the family. You check the type of education people are receiving, you see that there is a problem there. You check the type of friends people have, you see that something should be addressed for you to say there is a vocation, because vocation comes from the family. God gives it to the family to nurture it and then bring back to Him.
I've said it where the Pope Francis said the vocation starts then the family, where the church started. Having said that, marriage life, the way it is for you, even our founder, Mason Champagne, said it very to become a brother and take your God to become holy. What does it mean for you being a brother today?
Our founder is a radical man. He's a man that lived way above his time. I would say he saw tomorrow, and he made it his life goal to work towards that. I'm reading a book that is titled Crime and Punishment, whereby this particular man, I will call him a rebel, was able to distinguish men into two characters. He called those that are ordinary men and those that are extraordinary men. I would dwell on the extraordinary men, those that can go beyond the normal, those that can, even if it means overstepping on certain laws to achieve a goal that will help the society. I'm talking about this in a positive sense because that book, many people have analyzed it in the negative sense. But in the positive sense, our founder is an extraordinary man. And when he said that to be a brother is to be holy, he's at the same time affirming what Jesus Christ himself said, that we are called to be perfect, we are called to be holy. Having received this beautiful gift of God in our hands, it is something that we are supposed to be grateful for. It is something that will push us into holiness, and it means a lot to me. Nevertheless, we are in a world where the idea of being holy doesn't appeal anymore. But at the same time, in the church, we fight for that, we work for that, because being holy is being liberated, being holy is being saved, being holy is being having the awareness that Jesus Christ loves you And that is what holiness is all about. And nobody who professes Jesus Christ, who becomes a religious, who works towards achieving the mission of his own congregation will not achieve holiness. By mere being obedient to the tenets of your congregation, by following the rubrics, by opening yourself to the Word of God, by opening yourself to the liturgy, by opening yourself to your brothers and sisters in the community, it fills you with heavenly graces. And it is those graces that makes you holy. Holiness is not something we achieve by my own personal experience, by when you are praying or you distance yourself from people. Holiness is achieved by openness to God and to his ways. And he has made his ways, at least for us, made known in our congregation, loving our congregation, walking in the direction of the mission of our congregation. And I think that is how to achieve holiness. And that is the meaning it makes for me. That for me to be holy means I have to follow the teachings of my congregation, open myself to the world, to the church, to the people around me, and allow God to transform me. It is stage by stage. Gradually we reach there.
Wow, that's an inspiring story. For you, there is a young man there outside who are following us virtually, or those who are across this conversation. What can you tell them about Marist life or help them to discover their vocations?
Thank you very much for this beautiful question. For the people that are viewing us from all parts of the world, I thank you for creating opportunity to view this beautiful website, this beautiful YouTube line. I want to encourage you that being a religious or being a Christian is an invitation that God is giving to all of us to participate in His life, because this is the purpose why He created us. That is the purpose He created you. Now, when you want or you are contemplating on becoming a religious, it is already a sign that God has given you something. He has given you a special gift. He wants you to have a special relationship with Him. He's inviting you to Himself because God is communion. And that is the thing that will move you. When you discover that God is communion, and you discover again that life mysteries are revealed when you are in the company of other people, it will set you on fire. It will push you to say, how can I answer this call? And there are many congregations you can join. Marist Brothers Congregation is one of them. You can use the opportunity to apply in different parts of the world. We are there almost in 80 countries. You can apply, and then you try to join the mission. I think that a trial will not fail you. A trial will convince you, because when you meet the Marist brothers all over the world, we have the same character. We are welcoming, and that welcoming is a gift that we receive from God, who is welcoming also. We cannot help but to welcome, and we cannot help but to inspire people to know that it is an invitation on being in communion with God, and that communion will help us to do for our brothers and sisters all over the world who are not in communion with God, wherever they are, whether they are Muslim, whether they are Christian, whether they are Buddhist, to tell them that life mysteries are revealed when we are in communion with others. And with it, all the things happening in the world will be stopped. The issue of violence, the issue of war happening as we are speaking now will be reduced, because we have realized that God is communion and He's inviting us to that aspect.
That's great. Hope they will get your insight towards. So, as a person living in this center for years, you have lived in Ghana 2 years and other parts of the Africa countries. What triggers would you like to leave behind?
Okay, as for legacies, well, I want to be remembered as a brother who passed through Nairobi with an open heart, with an open hands. I want to be remembered as a brother who is active in the dynamics of the formation, because we are in a formation experience. And these two aspects are the things that I carry with me. They are my person. I will not be remembered as somebody who built a skyscraper somewhere or who built a what, but the simple things of life, I think, they are the things that I work towards. being welcoming. No matter where you come from, I cherish you the way you are. I don't want to be judgmental, say, no, this person is not from my side. I welcome every brother. I feel that it is a gift that God has given me to be in communion with people, because it is through that I get to know the person better. And it is something that I enjoyed myself as a brother here. Many people welcome me, even though sometimes I can be annoying, I can do certain things that they don't like, but they still welcome me. So it is a calling for me to welcome people, and I feel in my own evaluation that I'm fair enough in my association with brothers, with sisters, even lay people that are with us in the college where we study, where we live. I can say that I am fair. I will not give myself an excellent mark, but I will say that I am fair in my relationship with people, and I want to be remembered for that. That I passed through here, loving people, growing with people, tolerating people, and the aspects of the formation that we were invited to join. I would say that I have learned quite a lot myself. I have participated also in a lot of initiatives in the college, in the formation program, in terms of contribution to the wider community. As a secretary of the brothers, I was once the secretary of the community for some time. I was able to, at the end of my mandate, I gave a full copy of what transpired in the 1 year of my stewardship, which the brothers acknowledged. At the end of my stay here, I want to be remembered that I participated in the liturgy of the community, which makes me happy. The music of the church makes me happy, and I participated in it, in the choir, and all that. So these few things, I think, when I look back, I said I did not hide the gift that God gave me. I did not bury it like that ungrateful servant who buried the talent of his master. I used it to the best of my ability to move the congregation of our center to be a livable and lovable place.
You have really offered the best of yourself to the community and the wide society around us, and continue being a brother that heart knows no bound as you are. Do you have any last remark you want to give to our audience?
Yeah, I want to thank the Marist world for what they are doing in our lives, to thank our superior general. I hope someday he gets to see some of the initiatives they are taking to interview the brothers. It is a very laudable, remarkable initiative that we should all be interested in, to share our view, to share our communion. Now that the church is inviting us into synodality, this is how we get to know ourselves. Tomorrow, when we will go back to the province, after some time, you check this YouTube channel, you will realize, yeah, this was a stage in my life. It is something that will make you proud, that you contributed, you shared yourself, you broke yourself for the world, you shared what you believe. Let us not leave it for what is in the social media. You see people that are mad, people that do not have any formation, people that do not have any orientation, that are the people directing the media. I think what they are doing now is bringing the religious people. Let us enter into the world of media. And that is also what the church invited, or even during the Second Vatican Council, in the one of the documents, Inter Mirifica, on the means of social communication, that we should enter into the world of the media. Through it, we evangelize, and I think you are doing that. I believe my own sharing, my own contribution will also add to that space. Let us lend our voice to our experiences as religious people and correct some of the wrong notions that young people may have about us being religious. Let them know that we are in a safe hand. God is with us. We are enjoying His company, and we are living life to the full. And may it be something that will continue to encourage us to give our best wherever we may find ourselves.
Having mentioned a lot, and one of the way I want to comment at the last is the one with synodality. Currently, our church is going under the synodality phase, the season phase, where they talk about mission, participation, and communion. And thank you very much for having offered your time to our divine voice. I don't take it granted. Thank you for honoring my invitation, and may God bless you. Nyafu, nyafu.
You too, my brother. Thank you so much for the invitation.
For to our audience outside there, thank you very much for watching us. Thank you very much for following us. Your suggestions and comments are welcome. See you next time.
Set my heart upon the deep. All of you will get my love. In my memories I know how you sent familiar rains, falling gently on my days, dancing patterns on my pain. And I need to learn once more in the portraits of my mind to believe in falling rain as I travel deserts dry. So I leave my boats behind, leave them on familiar shores, set my heart upon the deep. Follow you again, my Lord. So I leave my boats behind, leave them on familiar shores, set my heart upon the deep. Follow you again, my Lord. As I gaze into the night, down the future of my years, I'm not sure I want to talk past horizons that I know, but I feel my spirit call like a stirring deep within. Restless till I live again, beyond the fears that close me in. So I leave my boats behind,